these are the best Tarkov settings that you can use currently as of January 19th for Tarkov. So getting into game, I have auto slots hidden. I use stamina, I have always shown. Health condition, always shown. Polychrome, because I prefer the green over the black. Highlight everything, obviously, because you want everything to be highlighted. Double click only in raid, because it's too easy to accidentally use stems and stuff before you go into raid. You go to move it, try to click on it, see what it looks like, what it can do. I keep automatic RAM cleaning on. Some people don't. My buddy is, he only turns it on to just clean it and then turns it back off. So that's something that you kind of use. Only use physical cores. FOV, I bounce between 65 and 70. It's kind of a back and forth. Malfunction notification you want on. Block group invites. Don't care about any of these. Preload hideout. My PC loads it just fine. If you have a little bit lower end PC, it might help to put it on, because that way it's loading it ahead of time. Might not take it quite as long to open up. I do play on 1440p on 4.3 stretched. Do not use VSync. I play on borderless. I think it actually helps FPS slightly, if anything. Texture quality, low, shadow. So object LOD quality, this is one of the ones that if you have a better PC to run it higher. So you will see players at a further distance without aiming down sights, the higher the number goes. So if you have it at a 4, you're going to see players, you probably see them 600-700 meters without aiming if you have a good enough monitor. I do 2.5 because it doesn't really affect FPS at all, but it will help you see better distances. It also helps their helmets and stuff render in. With it at a 2, you got about maybe 200 meters you'll be able to see people without aiming down sights, and the fact that their helmets will disappear at about 50 to 60 meters, so it's easier to tell what you're shooting at. Overall visibility distance, this is only for buildings. It does not affect player distance at all, so having it higher only does just hurt your visibility. There's no need to see, say if you're on woods, the big mountain, there's no need for that to render in at 600-700 meters away without an optic. If you look at it with an optic, it will render in, so it does not affect anything if you're going to be shooting that far anyways. Anti-aliasing off, this is one that I personally prefer with it off. I don't have it on any game that'll let me turn it off. I prefer a sharper looking game. If you do like anti-aliasing, FXAA is going to be the best for your PC to run without hindering FPS too much. You'll lose a little bit of frames, but not too much. Resampling 1x off. If you lower this, it's going to make your game look terrible. Making it go up higher doesn't really do much other than make your performance. NVIDIA DLSS, I don't run it. I haven't tried it too much. I might play with it a little bit this way, but all I noticed, it actually just affects your game and makes it run worse. AMD off. HBAO, max performance, what I've ran on for the last 2 wipes. Doesn't only makes a big difference, but if it can help a little bit. NVIDIA reflex low latency, I keep it off because I don't hit max frames anyways, and the only time NVIDIA low latency reflex affects anything is if you hit your max FPS. It'll help keep it more balanced. Sharpness at 0, because without having anti-aliasing on, it'll make the game too sharp and can be hard on your eyes. If you are going to run anti-aliasing, you can tweak it a little bit. Lobby FPS, game FPS 144, which is fine. I have a 240 hertz monitor, but it'll never get there. High quality colors. Could probably turn this one on, but I'm just going to leave it off because I play with my saturation at 100%. Grass shadows, MIP streaming, Z-blur, everything I keep off except for streets. Low texture resolution mode, because the only way to play streets is that I still only get like 65 FPS on a good day. Average is probably 55 to 60. I have a 2070 Super with a AMD Ryzen 7 3700X, and it's not terrible, but it does run it well. Post effects, I don't use anything. I do everything in NVIDIA, which I'll get to shortly. Do play with binaural audio on. I keep mine at about 80. At 100, you just get a lot of wind noise. There's really no need for it. Interface volume, I keep it low because I can't stand listening to everything. Chat volume, I keep it lower because of playing Arena. And then all of my keybinds are a different thing. We can go over it in a different video if you would like to see that. Now, this is where seeing in darker places, and this is where using different monitors is going to affect everybody differently. So I play with my brightness at 50. I keep my contrast at 100, and I keep my gamma at 1.50. So for playing night raid, you can cheese it very much by turning this all the way up. It will basically make the darkest parts of the night brighter than most of the time during the day. It will be excessively bright. There's only a few times where I've ever seen it truly dark. Contrast, I keep mine at 100 because my monitor is too bright. It will overkill it. So for 1440p, I think this is where the contrast part comes into play more. So anybody else I've told to use it to have 1080p, they keep it at 50-50, and then they adjust their gamma to what feels right, because you're going to have to play with it, because there's a point to where it's going to get too bright and hurt your eyes, especially with the snow currently. When the snow's not around, it's not as big a deal. So this is a big thing, especially if you like playing maps like Interchange. This helps tremendously inside. You can see so much further. It helps get rid of the haze a little bit. I keep my digital brightness state 100 because Tarkov is just not a very colorful game, so it doesn't really affect it too much. Helps with the painkiller effect as well. Gives it a little bit more vibrancy to the game. It makes it feel more lively, I guess. Everything else is really not too much to go over. The only other thing you can do is you can adjust your preview image. You can use my preference, which is on performance. It just gets changed occasionally from time to time. Yes, I'd like to save. And then you can go to, so it's basically the big settings that you need to know about changing to Tarkov. Anything else you're going into finer, more detailed stuff, which there is a bunch of videos up. If you'd like to see me upload something like that, I'll gladly do it. But there's a bunch of videos already up telling you how to get the max performance out of your PC. Other than that, these are my settings, and I hope it helps you out, and good luck on your future raids.